Good evening. Welcome to the August 15, 2024 meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission meeting. My apologies for the delayed start. Mine. I was catching up a little bit up here. Nice, beautiful afternoon. With that being said, we'll get ourselves going. We do have one member absent tonight, so I'd like to read off our quorum. The presence of 5 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. Chairperson may, at his or her discretion, wait up to 30 minutes after the scheduled meeting time for a quorum to be present. In the event that a member is required to leave a meeting prior to adjournment and the departure causes a loss of quorum, no further official action may be taken until a quorum is restored other than an adjournment. Majority vote of those commissioners present, and in no case less than 4 affirmative votes, shall be required to decide any item of business requiring action by the commission. Just like to read that off for anyone new here this evening. Our first item up tonight is to set our agenda. I am not aware of any changes or adjustments. Seeing none from the commission at this time, we'll set the agenda as stated. We'll begin with our next item, which is our staff reports. Mr. Boffman, our city planner.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just like to start off by saying over here, you might have noticed Taylor Murray, our planning tech, is here. She's sitting in for a meeting to see how this goes and see what it's like. Many of you probably have already talked and spoke with her, met her, but if you haven't, we could put on a show tonight, I guess. It'll be a quick one, an easy one for a quicker meeting, it seems like maybe. I think Jill's got some things to say, too.
I just wanted to remind everybody about our training on September 18th. Hopefully you all got your save the date little reminder in the mail. It is going to be at the City Annex building at 115 Clemens Road. We'll start at 5 o'clock. We'll have a catered dinner for you all and have some wonderful speakers lined up. We're just trying to kind of finalize the agenda. As soon as we get that finalized, we will get that over to you all so you're aware of what we are planning. If you have any suggestions, anything you'd like to see or hear about at the training, we are always welcome and open to ideas and look forward to seeing you all there.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Shane, how's Public Works?
Doing good, Chairman. One thing I do want to point out, and I've talked to Commissioner Hefner about this. I want to let everyone know that with stormwater utility coming online last year, provide an update on that. We've spent the first year of the utility building up our reserves so we could start tackling projects. And I'm pleased to announce that we, in the first step of tackling our master plan, we are looking for engineering consultants to select or based on their qualifications to start designing projects. So those close on September the 9th, and hopefully thereafter we select a consultant, get them on board, and start doing projects out in the community that people can see. In addition, our utilities director, Tim Forkham, is getting an operations crew together, fully staffed. So you'll start seeing the utilities guys out doing preventative maintenance with it around town. So with that concludes my staff report. But I know people have asked and talked, and I can finally say that the utility is you'll be seeing that around town.
Shane, we've had so many big things going from roundabouts to greenways to whatnot over the last seems like 3, 4 years, 5 years. What's next? What do you got working? Any thoughts? Just out of curiosity.
I can't speak for Director White on his end, but I'd say from my end on stormwater and sewer, we're going to be probably tackling the biggest sewer project the city's ever had since the implementation of a sewer system with the equalization basin. That's going to be on Old Lebanon Dirt Road as you head east or head west out of town. We're currently finalizing our plans with that tank and look to go to bid this fall and hopefully start next year.
Wow.
It's going to be a 10 million gallon holding tank as we prepare ourselves for the next round of negotiations with Metro on our flow contract. So just getting ready for that. So that'll be coming up here in the next 2 or 3 years.
It's great news. Sometimes the most important things are the ones we can't really see, but
Yeah.
benefit each and every one of us every day.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. All right, we will move on. Our next item up on the agenda is our citizens' comments. At this time, we'll take citizen comments. Public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about any item on our agenda tonight. There will be 2 opportunities for you to make comments. You may speak now, or you may speak when the item is presented to the Planning Commission. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and anyone that wishes to address the Planning Commission at this time is welcome and encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Actually thought that the Silver Springs expansion was going to be on this agenda tonight. I'm seeing that it's not. I was curious when that might actually be coming back up, because I know the last month's meeting, you guys had pushed some things off, and I was under the impression it was going to be tonight.
John or Jill?
At this time, we just got resubmittals yesterday for next month's planning commission, and they've not submitted at this time. But you are welcome to contact us. If you hear anything, you're welcome to contact the planning office, and we'll be happy to let you know. But as of right now, they did not resubmit. So I would anticipate probably checking back with us mid-September or so for the October planning commission.
Gotcha.
All right.
So as of right now, there's nothing on the
No,
books
sir.
for it.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank
Y'all have
Yes,
a good
sir.
day.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments at this time? We'll close our citizen comments and move on to our next item. Our next item falls underneath minutes approval. Number 5A is to approve the minutes for the July 18th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Any changes, adjustments, typos, errors, additions? Seeing none, looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Against? Abstentions? So approved. All right, let me catch my breath for our next item up. Our next item is number 6, falls underneath our consent agenda. We'll begin with item 6A, development letter of credit number 600-420-940 for Triple Crown, intersection of Pleasant Grove and Triple Crown Parkway repaving. The amount of $105,000 can be released. Sewer letter of credit number 19747, cashier check for Batson and Limeberry Gravity Sewer in the amount of $24,516 can be released. Item 6C, sewer letter of credit number 600-551130 for Triple Crown Phase 3, Section 1B in the amount of $30,949.88 can be released. Sewer letter of credit number 600-551110 for Triple Crown Phase 3, Section 1C in the amount of $5,283 can be released. Item 6E, review the mass grading plan for Golden Gateway, located off of Golden Bear Gateway and Volunteer Boulevard. Item 6F, review the commercial design standards waiver for In-N-Out Burger, located off Golden Bear Gateway and Beckwith Road. Item 6G, review the site plan for Linwood Station amenity area, located on Clemens Road. Item 6H, review the site plan for the Windtree Pines Amenity Center located at 109 Windtree Club Drive. Item 6I, review the final master development plan and site plan for Everett Downs Mixed Use located at 1919 North Mount Juliet Road. Item 6J, review the preliminary plat for Everett Downs Mixed Use located at 1919 North Mount Juliet Road. Item 6K, review the preliminary plat for Green Hill Road Commercial located off of Lebanon Road and North Green Hill Road. Items 6L, review the final master development plan for Green Hill Road Commercial located off Lebanon Road and North Green Hill Road. Item 6M, review the preliminary plat for Odom Springs located on John Wright Road. Item 6N, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, is to review the plan of services for the roadway and right-of-way for South Green Hill Road. Mr. Boffin.
We've got two comments on 2 of these. The first one is for In-N-Out design guideline waiver. I'll let Jill speak on that one, and then I'll speak on one other one after this.
Just wanted to give a little bit of clarification. There had been some questions as to why the in and out was put on the consent with the commercial design standard. Basically, the request is due in fact that it complies with the corporate motif that they are trying to establish here in the city. And the design itself is aesthetically pleasing for what the city's trying to do. We do have our design guidelines, but as is proven in past history, that the city is open to looking at other avenues to provide not everything being cookie cutter within the city and try to give some availability to bring new businesses into town. So if there are any further questions on it, just let us know. But we were well pleased with it. They do have a regular maintenance schedule that they provide. If we needed to see that about how they keep the upkeep on the building, considering it is a lot of stucco. It's very bright white and everything, but I do think that it would be very conducive to that area as well.
And I'd like to add for item 6L, it's the final master development plan for Green Hill Road Commercial. Mr. Marquetti asked me we could probably get rid of planning and zoning condition 2, strike that one, and replace it with this language. Submit an amended final master development plan with submittal of site plans. It's because they'll have to amend this FMDP since it was just for infrastructure at this point. So they'll have to submit another one, an amended one, to capture the exact uses that they intend to go there when they know and when they come along. So strike condition 2 and add that language for 3. Good. That's all. Thank you.
We recommend approval of the consent agenda based on ensuing comments. Thank you.
Guess I can turn my microphone back on. I have just a few. And I'm going to just kind of start at the top and work my way down. 6E. I couldn't exactly tell, and I don't think this one is affected right here. Piggybacks a comment that I made at last month's meeting. When we get these mass grading requests, just want to make sure that any buffers that are being requested by planning or part of the approval of their FMDP in regards to these, that they're putting their erosion control measures on their property, not within the buffers. That is another measure in place to help prevent them from mowing down our buffers in the scope of kind of acts like a fence of sorts and help to preserve the buffers that this body and our Board of Commissioners also approved. So just a note there for item 6E to make sure, because I couldn't exactly tell where their erosion control measures were going to be set. But my preference is going to be set on the inside of any requested buffers and not to the perimeter of the property. And if they want to set their erosion control to the perimeter of the property, then install a fence between that and protect your buffer, one of the two. 6F, I guess let's go ahead and talk about that one. So staff is comfortable with an 80% facade. My tenure, I don't know that we've ever approved a 80% secondary material in my time period here. So that is a unique request. I guess I probably want to hear from representation on this too, because you've got a unique request before this body tonight, and I'm going on 20 years next year. And I don't think that I've ever seen that.
A lot of people do that. They have moved their eastern headquarters into Franklin. So this area has been a draw for them. It is a unique structure. It's a unique design, but I do think it is one that we are trying to move the city ahead to draw in these nationwide companies that have the interest here. So we're willing to work with them to be flexible. We've had a lot of variations. We went back and forth, but In-N-Out is very adamant in regards to this being their corporate motif. And again, as we said, it's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it's a good looking building.
One of the impressions that was made upon us was their maintenance schedule, the fact that they do take a great amount of pride. And when you check around and look at some of the locations throughout the country, it is very evident that they take pride in their product. So that is one thing that gave us a little bit more comfort in the fact of being able to recommend this, just to kind of give us a little bit of change of pace too for the city. It's not necessarily within the lines of the box, but it is something I do think that would be very good and very conducive for that area, because I do see that with Golden Bear developing, we're going to see a lot of different types of elevations coming forth
Sure.
in some forthcoming submittals. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of see where guidelines too with the Planning Commission, where your line in the sand is per se, and what y'all see as the vision for this area and for this city. So we're very open to see what you all and will respect your guidance and your decisions on this as well.
So we're seeing it on design standards, but not seeing a site plan, which I assume if it passes, it will end up seeing. Where
Absolutely.
will this be in relation then?
It is going to be on the corner of, are you talking about the location of
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's on the corner of Old Beckwith Road and Golden Bear.
Okay.
The area I think we discussed before right there is if you were coming I-40 westbound, as you immediately get off the exit ramp right there,
Mhm.
Old Beckwith Road is your first road right there to your immediate right in that area. So it's
Okay.
going to be directly across from where the AOS building and all that is, and where we got the new submission for the Texas Roadhouse.
So this would be your potential first driver for that site to develop.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. It's going to have a lot of interstate frontage as far as visibility for
Does-
your interstate traffic. So it's an ideal location. an ideal
Outside of
location.
the in and out, since that's your first one in, they've not started any infrastructure, does the developer plan to go ahead and develop because that's a PUD over there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does the developer plan to continue on the PUD or?
Part
start
of it
the
is
PUD all the way
located within
back?
the PUD. Part of it is located within the PUD. That's another submission that we've got this month for some changes within that PUD. So it's kind of a unique feature, but
As that property sits right now, half of it's in that Golden Bear Place PUD,
Okay,
like the northern part. We've asked, they're amending that PUD. They're in the process of amending that PUD. I looked at the submittal that came in today, and it still only includes half that property. So I don't know exactly what the intention is with the PUD there, because you got PUD overlay over half of that CI property. Either it needs to come in or go out. It doesn't matter either way, but that'll be accomplished with this submittal we got yesterday. That's going to be for next month. That'll be ironed out by then.
do you anticipate more than this one parcel being part of their phase one development, or just they're going to try to do just enough to accommodate?
Well, they already, remember in that PUD, they already got a site plan approval for that East Side Bowl and that. So those things actually predate this in that PUD.
Okay, okay,
The storage unit in the East Side Bowl.
very well. Did you discuss, there's a broad terminology, or just because it's not a well-used product or frequently used product in the Middle Tennessee market, do we know what type of stucco they're using?
they didn't give specifics to it, but we would gladly have them work with staff and look at the product type. But they didn't go into great specifics on the type of stucco.
Let me ask real quick, do we have representation here for In and Out? Please, come to the microphone, name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Bryant. I'm the development manager for In-N-Out Burger, who's responsible for all of our Tennessee expansion projects.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
As you know, stucco can be very broad, and it's not a frequently used product in Middle Tennessee for various reasons out there. So, and there's various applications of stucco.
Correct.
So what application do you guys use?
In this case, we're using EFIS. Given the cold weather climate, the freeze thaw conditions, EFIS is the appropriate material to go through, which is a system of stucco that allows appropriate insulation for the weather.
And the EFA, and that is laid on with a lathe and troweled on, is that correct?
I believe so. The end, the
Where
last
it
piece.
forms
But
almost a concrete
there's
product.
insulation and there's multiple layers, but it's not a traditional 3-coat with lath, plaster, and brown coat, scratch coat, and color.
Is it the one with styrofoam behind it?
There is some, yes.
Interesting. Is that what you guys use everywhere?
In all of the regions where we have cold climates, yes, it
Okay.
is.
Crazy enough, I live in a stucco house.
Yeah,
Um,
we know there were a lot of issues back in the 90s with the insulation and with EFIS as it first came out. Since then, though, the technology has completely changed. It's the representation of our restaurants and the quality of construction is really where we start at the beginning. So we ensure that we have contractors that can meet our expectations and ensure that we have a quality installation, a quality finish,
Great.
and continue to maintain it as well. In some of our discussions, we've mentioned a few of our maintenance protocols, whether it comes through painting or cleaning or pressure washing through the entire site, including our concrete.
Yeah, the white is a pretty good one to show anything there.
Mhm.
So it's certainly important. Should we grant the variance for this? So you're going to do a stone water table. Is that all four sides of the building that you're going to wrap your stone around?
Correct. Yes.
About how high in relation is your stone water table? Is that 2 feet, 3 feet, 4
Offhand,
feet?
I think it's a little over 3 feet.
It's a little over 3 feet. Is that to match up with your window sills as it comes through there?
It
Is that the
does.
reason why that you're only limiting that much?
Correct. So it goes to the bottom of the windowsills, and it wraps some of the columns in the drive-through as well. So we have consistency. A big part of our buildings is a lot of architectural interest, and so this breaks up a lot of the planes, gives it more horizontal looks in certain areas, and just adds a lot of architectural interest to it. Articulation.
Have you guys opened any in Middle Tennessee yet?
No, not yet.
Would this be your first?
This, depending on the speed and the process, this could be within the first rollout of some of the other locations that we're looking at.
Same building design at the other locations that you're looking at?
For most of them, yes. So in
You-
the surrounding area, Lebanon would be very similar with a different brick material, Antioch as well, and Madison would all have this prototypical design.
Can you share with us what the differences are in the elevations between each municipality?
Yeah. So a lot of times the masonry material, so the rock at the wainscot level, will be different, as well as the awnings. But other than that, the corporate branding is very important for us. Our owner, Lindsay Snyder, we are, a privately held corporation. So
Yes.
she is hands-on involved in every one of our designs and the building choices and selections. So this is her vision for what she wants for the community of Mount Juliet.
So they're all stucco, but really what varies between the three municipalities is what you're saying is you got brick as a water table one place, you have a different color stone
Correct.
at another place, but they're all share the common denominator of the bone china stucco at every location.
Yes.
Can you share with us the difference in your awnings? Are you doing metal awnings in one place and fabric awnings in another?
In some cases, we do metal awnings.
Do they need a variance? Are you doing fabric awnings here?
In this case, fabric awnings.
We are good to do fabric awnings, even with what happened to Pier 1?
Fabric is what is required as it stands under the code right now.
Very well. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right, so I will move on. That helps with what I needed to know. Next one I've got is Linwood Station. On that amenity center over there, just out of curiosity, did we approve that FMDP with all the amenity center parking on the street? We did? I just couldn't recall. I think that's 3-4 years that we saw that.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was just wondering if that's consistent with what we approved.
I think it's, yeah, and also it's pretty good. You got all amenities on the amenity site now, so.
Yeah,
it's
all on one
another
side.
Giving away to pavement, you
And
know.
no mailbox there. I
Yeah,
did
it's a
notice
nice
that.
use of the space, I think.
How many houses are in there?
Oh, boy, I don't remember. Let me see if I might have it in here. What do you say? Yeah, there's a lot. Probably, that sounds about right.
Around 300?
Yeah. There's townhomes too. Yeah. Yeah.
And without seeing, I mean, I just don't remember it. I found it odd that I didn't complain about no parking lot.
What, now that I think about it, on the FMDP, it probably was just shown as open space. It would have been on there, but it was open space. And then with the site plan, we get the details here, so.
So we didn't see that it was no parking.
No, I mean, now that I think about it, that probably was just shown as open space. That's why we asked for a new, a site plan with each of these.
Or, I mean, and not seeing the overall FNDP at this point in time. I mean, you guys are satisfied and happy with this, even though it really doesn't truly have parking?
I am.
Okay. Next one, and this is just out of curiosity, it's going to be the same comment. Wintry Pines, how many houses are in there?
I don't remember. 380?
423.
423.
423.
Once made a comment to one of the developers that came in here. They came in with no amenities. And I asked them that they knew who their competition was, because apparently didn't, because they had no amenities in comparison. And here's one, Wintry Pines, got an excellent, now Linwood has got an excellent layout,
I agree.
but a little bit difficult to get in and out, because 300 houses, a lot of people will want to drive, especially on a humid day like today where a pool would be glorious. And here you got 423 houses that are going to have more than ample appears parking, accessibility, and everything to it. So just something I guess we should look at going forward is make them lay that out, because I'm not too excited that parking is on the street for as nice amenity center as what that appears to be. Next one is going to be, and this just goes back 6I. We separated lots on this. So we just added lot 1. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do we know where the access for lot 1 is going to be? Is that going to be in the main drive aisle?
That internal drive aisle. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's all I have. Sorry. Any other questions, comments? We have not. No, sir. All right,
We took care of mine.
please.
Just a quick comment, I guess, back to us in general, for related to the in and out. If we're going to consider these alternative materials, maybe we need to relook at the ordinances a little bit and see what we're willing to accept versus what we're not willing to accept, and maybe refine that a little bit more. So we have a little bit more leeway without having to set precedents and then have to defend precedents.
Just as a thought, maybe somebody from our building department as a item for our continuing education could talk pluses, minus of exterior facades. Just be interesting. That way we understand the building process and what goes behind it, differences that you get, thermal breaks between brick, stucco, siding, how they're applied, what life periods are, what maintenance is considered on them. Just something that kind of piggybacks that comment.
Yep.
Yeah, please.
I completely agree with Commissioner Rask. I think my biggest concern is when we start looking at design standard waivers, what precedents we're setting. And I really think we need to try to jump on the gun and review that, because from this vote on, we're going to have people come forward and they're going to bring up this waiver and they're going to try to say how theirs is similar. So that's one big concern that I've got with this, is if we're going to do a design standard waiver, I think we really need to look at trying to prepare ourselves for people that are going to question this precedence.
I will concur. That is some internal discussions that we've had recently with John and I, that there are a few zoning ordinance amendments that we've been looking at, and we'd like to try and bring some combined to y'all instead of piecemealing one at a time. So that is something that definitely is in the works. It's been looked at heavily, and we agree. I mean, we are setting a precedent, but I do think, given the state of where we are, what we're trying to attract in the city, we're very open to it, and we'll just try to be more amenable with the code and try to see where we can find a happy middle ground that makes everybody happy, but yet still attracts the development that we're hoping to get here at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you all. Further questions, comments? Seeing none, this time I'd like to call for citizen comments. Anyone wish to make comment about any item on our consent agenda is welcome and encouraged to do so. Name and address for the record.
Yeah. Stephen Heckendorf, 393 Page Drive. I want to say I moved here from California, and In-N-Out is kind of a staple there. Not only that, but I actually worked there from 17 to 19 years old. And I can tell you that, they do maintain their buildings very well. Even the workers, you wear all white with a red apron. And kind of the reason for that is that you're not wearing black, you're not wearing McDonald's black or gray or to hide the stains, because you have to go and change your outfit. And that's how precise the style and the expertise of making sure not only the staff look well, but the building presents well. I mean, they have maintenance crews that would come out. I mean, there was a little bit of gum in the driveway, you'd be out there scraping it off. So I can speak to that part just from experience. And I mean, it's fantastic. They're gonna be out here. It's cool because we're expecting the sun, and it's gonna be cool to be like, hey, right here, like this is where I worked. And I worked in California, but now they're out here. Like, I never dreamed that they would actually be out here. So I know it sounds like a little bit too fanboyish, but I have to say, like, I don't think you'll regret, because if you've been to any In-N-Out from Idaho all the way down to Southern California, you'll see that every single one is that white stucco, and I've never seen a spot on it. They're not going to just, it's all dirty. No, they're going to get to it before it even gets dirty. So I can speak to that part, but yeah, I mean, again, it's fantastic that they would pick Mount Juliet. I was talking to the mayor about it earlier, and be like, right when I heard it was announced, I was like, I hope we're getting one to Mount Juliet, because I don't want to have to drive to Lebanon 20 minutes away. So I do appreciate you guys, but that's kind of what I wanted to speak on. And from firsthand experience growing up there, and been to many In-N-Outs, and never had a problem with how cleanliness is. I mean, you'll be amazed if you haven't been to one.
What do you recommend? What do
Well,
we eat?
I mean, everybody says double animal style, but yeah, that's pretty much the way they put
You gotta
all the stuff. on it.
double
So-
animal style. Come
Yes,
on. You gotta
correct.
expand.
Well, so it's like a Thousand Island dressing sauce, and has everything on it with grilled onions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 meat patties, 2 cheese, and yeah, it looks fantastic. And it's not an overpriced hamburger. So I see people comment about it's not overpriced. You'll be surprised. You'll get fantastic fresh food. They chop the onions. Chop everything in the store. I did it many a time. So there's a free advertisement. Okay. He did not pay me for this. He did not pay me for this.
Yeah. See the guy in the black shirt.
Yeah, he doesn't know me.
Yeah.
Right? I said, when I get old and I want to chill out, that's where I'll work. So correct. It is a fantastic company, and Lindsay Snyder's great. They really treat their employees well. So everybody who works there, they really treat them like family. So yeah. So it is a good quality family business. So I just want to speak on that. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Any additional citizen comments before we all leave for dinner? If you weren't hungry then, you are now. Yeah. All right. See no more citizen comments. Well, actually, before we take a motion in regards to these items, we need to close our planning commission meeting in order to open a public hearing. Public hearing is in regards to item 6N, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners to review the plan of services for the roadway and right-of-way for South Green Hill Road. Anyone wishing to make comment during the public hearings, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. See no citizen comments at this time. We will close our public hearing, reopen our planning commission meeting, and at which time I'd like to request a motion for the items on our consent agenda.
Motion for approval with conditions stated.
A second, and that's the addition of Mr. Boffman's removal of comment number 2 on 6L and the addition of the terminology that I believe Kenny has captured over here. Good?
Yep.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising their hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved and so positively recommended. With that being said, I am looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion? Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye and raise your hand. Aye. Against? We are adjourned.